Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for tuning in for Direct Connection. Just ahead, the increase in knee injuries. We will connect you with expert advice. First tonight, it is back to school season already, and the technology needs for students are evolving. Joining us to explain it is Stenny Hull with Best Buy. Stenny, good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing the store with you, too.
Oh, yes. We have many more at the store available.
I read somewhere that back to school for the electronics business is second only to the Christmas season in the amount of business you do.
It has definitely become that big and that exciting for us, as well as the fact that now is the best time to get a laptop or to get your back-to-school needs. And so we're seeing a big increase in that time of the year.
So I want to talk about it from the standpoint of college kids, but also high school. But to begin, let's focus on college. And the must-have for a college student had been some sort of laptop for a long time. Is that evolving at all?
Yes, so we've gone far from pens and pencils and things like that in clothing. And
the slide rules.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of the schools have, on that shopping list, they do have a specific need or demand for what kind of laptop you should get, the certain processor, the certain operating system and things like that are compatible to the education institute's type of operating system as well.
Kind of depends if you're an engineering student and you're going to be doing computer-assisted design or some really processor-intensive stuff as opposed to just writing papers.
Right. And that can severely impact which way you're going to go when you're shopping, and that's one of the important things that we try to discover when we meet our customers. All
right, well, you brought some toys in here.
Absolutely.
Closest to you just looks like, and we haven't talked about what's what, but that just looks like a regular old laptop?
Well,
I'm sure it's a really good one.
Yes, it is. So what HP has here, this is what we call our two-in-one, which you're going to see evolve a lot in the past year and going forward. And the idea of the two-in-ones is that you can pretty much flip them over and you can use them for tablet entertainment as well as touchscreen, so you have a tablet type of device. And then for serious work, you can also go ahead and do your papers, your multimedia presentations, nice thing for your professor. And because they're portable and light and thin, you can take them anywhere on campus without lugging around a lot of hardware.
Do people actually do that? Flip it around, configure it one way and then the other?
You would be surprised, yes, especially in traveling or if they're taking a break, flip it around, pull up some YouTube or something like that and watch their videos.
All right. Next thing is a even smaller, as small as that HP is.
Right.
The MacBook here is tiny.
Right. So a lot of our customers, if the university or the institution is not specific on the operating system, some people are familiar with Apple and some like Windows. And so we have the Apple solution as well, which can also run things like Microsoft Office. Very light design. Does not have the two-in-one, but as you can see, it's a very thin device. It's almost the size of a large tablet at this point. And it will give you all the processing power that you're familiar with Apple.
This is the one where they took all the plugs out, right?
Right. And the reason for that is because a lot of your storage is being done on cloud, so you could access it anywhere. Much more convenient that way.
But you can, there is a way, there's a USB plug of some sort.
Right. And what has evolved as well is you have wireless printing and things like that. So the idea of a device with a lot of ports, that just tends to bog the unit down and drag the battery down, where if you're cloud printing or printing wirelessly or saving wirelessly, it makes the device last a lot longer.
All right, the third laptop-ish kind of thing you brought closer to me, that's a Lenovo. It looks like there's a keyboard back here, so it looks like it does like the HP, or?
Exactly like the HP. The reason we brought the Lenovo is because we have some great featured ones this week, including one that bundles out with an Xbox. So not only are you doing your hard work and everything, but during downtime, you might want to take part in some gaming or something. And so that bundle, when you package it with an Xbox, it's saving you $200. And I know students and parents love to hear savings.
And you know, the savings are interesting this time of year because
Yes.
it's so many students buying. Apple historically will roll out some deal. I think they're giving away headphones, good headphones.
Right, Apple themselves have headphones, and there are some combination bundles that we have. And the thing about our Best Buy bundles is that they're not specific, so it's not one size fits all. We have bundles to meet each individual shopper's needs, and then when we discover that, we can direct them in the right direction.
Give me a rough idea of the prices of these machines.
So your MacBooks can start around $799, and they can go up from there. Your two-in-ones can start at $499 as well, which includes the Lenovo and this HP here. We also have Dell, we have Asus, and we have Toshiba's as well, and Samsung now.
You can get a decent tablet for a few $100s.
Right.
You can hook up an external keyboard to it. Does that cut it for anybody?
Not for everybody. If I'm just browsing the web and I want to edit some documents, I can do that. But when you're really comfortable with the processing power and you don't want to trade off, then you really want to go with one of these laptops that are converting the other way, where you can use them as a tablet as well as a notebook.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about technology for this back-to-school season, give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen. You can also tweet your questions. The Twitter address is @MPT News. Let's talk about Chromebooks for a minute.
Okay.
So the Chrome is Google, right? And
Right.
it started as a web browser, and then it became its own operating system, which doesn't do a whole lot except run the browser. But they're selling a lot of those to regular schools, K through 12, put it in the classroom. They're cheap. They're hard to mess up.
Right.
Is that spreading it all to high school kids and college kids?
Well, it's funny because the discovery with the Chromebook buyer was that they were looking for something that's, first of all, it's virus-free because all your information is stored in the cloud, similar to like a tablet where it's app-based. And so our customers really enjoy that feature. Your battery life is excellent. Your processing power is not great, but it can handle, if I'm going to open up a document and I want to review it, then it can handle that.
Yeah, I think about my phone. Probably has more processing power than the computer I was using to do word processing 15, 20 years ago.
Yes, absolutely.
That's not that sophisticated a thing.
Right. So
How much should students and parents think about the physical security of the device in terms of something that's not going to get stolen if they leave it in the break room somewhere?
Well, those are very important concerns. Unfortunately, we can't control all of that. However, we can assist with things like if the unit gets damaged or it falls off a desk, which can happen, they are portable. We can assist with that because our Geek Squad offers accidental coverage as well as spillage. And if you paid for it, you're going to take care of it, but in most cases you're going to be with a roommate and they may not appreciate it as much and can easily spill something on it or just drop it.
Boy, that'd be tough. Let's talk about the software side a little bit. I mean,
Okay.
so much of the business world is still Microsoft Office and that suite of products.
Right.
And academically, too, there's a website where students turn in their papers electronically to professors. And what I understand is that it wants you to turn it in as a Word file,
Exactly.
not anything else.
Yeah, the last thing you want is to put your hard work in a great paper and you're going for the A or the A+, and your professor finds out he has to, or he or she has to convert it to another format. Probably would impact the grade a little bit there. So we wouldn't want that. And so with that, the Microsoft Office 365 and the versions Home and Student, things like that, they offer full compatibility, and it's usually the standard with a lot of the software and their documents that they want.
Yeah, and like everybody else, they want to do business with students.
Absolutely.
Get them to be familiar and even expert on using their technology.
Right, and even to the point that with a laptop, you can save $20 when you bundle Office in there. So that's a great savings for our customers.
We were talking about security in respect of Chromebooks, but if you have a Windows or an Apple-based system, it's still a world full of viruses and hackers out
Yes.
there. But the built-in stuff has improved do you still need an add-on virus program?
We do recommend it. Not any any virus software is going to protect you from everything. We're minimizing the risk because it all comes down to the user. If you get a suspicious email and you don't recognize that, and you can ignore the warnings from the virus software, you click it, then you can have an infection. And that's one of the things that we do solve a lot at Geek Squad.
Let's grab a phone call. Anne Arundel County, this is Lou. Lou, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to know is where do you have to be to access the cloud? Can you do it from a basement? Can you do it from a cave?
Fabulous question, because really nobody understands where the cloud is, even though it's a bunch of Amazon servers somewhere. How do you think about the cloud?
So it is anywhere that you have internet service, and we did have to think about it differently because a lot of people like their information and know it's right there on the hard drive in front of them. But a lot of our phone data and things like that are stored in the cloud as well, and we access it through that. So the public has been more comfortable with that type of storage solution. The benefit of the cloud is if your system ever goes down, you can access it from multiple different pieces of hardware. And so you can get your information on the go if you need to access it anywhere.
Is it a confusing term? I mean, would it be simpler to say that your stuff is backed up on a server farm?
It would take a long time to say. So today's generation, they say cloud.
But the idea is it is somewhere.
Yes.
Or
yes,
multiple somewheres.
Absolutely. It's just a means of wirelessly getting it there and not having to think about backing up. Like the Chromebook automatically saves. So if you're in the middle of a document, let's say the power goes out or something like that, you didn't lose your document. It's been saving while you've been interacting with it.
One of the things about shopping for this stuff, particularly with a college-age child, is that from a parent's perspective, the lingo can be difficult. Knowing exactly what you're looking for, what processor, how much memory, what kind of connectivity it has. Younger people certainly maybe are more familiar with it, but when you're working with a customer, you can probably tell who's an expert, who thinks they're an expert,
right,
and who really needs some help.
Right, and it is very important in retail, in our stores, and we train our associates to recognize that we do have to speak at the level of our customer, because some will get bored if it's regular entry-level information we're giving them, and some will get bored if we go too high tech, and we want to meet their needs on that level and still discover exactly what's going to be the best solution for them.
One more phone call I want to get to, but here's a text question, a Twitter question. Computing speeds, processing power, is it all still getting faster, or have things leveled out a bit?
Now, with your introduction of the new Intel processors, it has gotten very fast, and it continues to get fast. And we're in the 6th generation now, 7th generation on the horizon, and there's going to be features that you can interact with your machine just by using gestures and things like that. So you don't even have to touch your keyboard. It can recognize your face. You can log on without having to touch the keyboard. It says, okay, this is him, and we're going to go ahead and gain access for it. So
cool
your
stuff.
passwords and all that are secured.
Cecil County, this is Stephen. Stephen, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
How safe is the cloud from hacking?
Okay, that's a good question. So if you're going to store stuff on your device, it's possible if you're connected to the internet, somebody could try to get it. If it's in the cloud, still some risk.
It is very secure, and I'd be stretched to find a situation where somebody did access the cloud and was able to take somebody else's information. It's a very secure thing, and the reason why is because those servers are run by whoever owns them, IBM or whatever company is running them, and so those professionals know, and they consistently scan it for viruses and things like that. Backdoor type of access. So they're continuously evolving it, where us, the average user, there's somebody out there working on a virus in a way to trick us as much as there are people out there with antivirus programs.
So they're better at the security stuff over at the cloud than I am in my basement.
You may be technically inclined, but better than me.
Steady Hall with Best Buy. Thanks for coming by. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And coming up, preventing knee injuries. We'll be right back.
Sometimes
the tears,
I get a good feeling, yeah.
wanting to die. Nobody tells you
I believe
that without without it.
I really do believe that
Life can be appallingly boring.
something's got a hold on me here.
You're making a mistake.
Am I? This is really very promising.
Something's got a hold on me right.
I don't think this is such a good idea.
You've been talking to my mother.
I am about to commit murder.
She always had a bit of a dark side. Trying to scare me now. It'll give you a story.
He's in love.
I really wasn't. Stay away from my wife.
Any idea the pressure I am now under?
There is one stage that is the Met and Carnegie Hall. It is the Kennedy Center and a club in Austin. It is closer than any seat in the house, no matter where you call home. PBS, the great American stage that fits in every living room. Supporting your PBS station brings the arts home.
And joining us for this week's Your Health segment is Dr. Jonathan Packer, Assistant Professor of Orthopedics at the University of Maryland School of Medicine and Team Orthopedic Surgeon for the University of Maryland Terrapins. Doctor, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Across all of your practice, not just team doctor, what's the most common knee injury that you see?
Probably the most common knee injury is meniscus tear or some kind of cartilage damage. But it really depends on the age of the patient. The young patients were particularly concerned about getting an ACL injury. The rates of ACL tears in high school athletes have really skyrocketed over the last 20 years.
Why would that be? What would make, I mean, knees are pretty much what they used to be, so something else must have changed.
Yes, and for the most part, they're playing the same sports. However, more kids are playing sports nowadays, and they're getting more involved. Playing year-round and having more exposures. So they're on the field more hours per year than they were in the past. And they're playing at a higher intensity. So those are some of the more common reasons why.
Put you on the spot for a second,
Sure.
Because the Baltimore Ravens just tore up their artificial turf field and went back to more or less natural grass. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's any connection between the artificial surfaces that even younger kids are playing in at high school stadiums and some parks and some of these injuries?
There is some evidence that there is a higher injury risk with artificial turf. However, I think there are some other factors that certainly have a much higher factor in having these young athletes get injuries.
What kind of ages are we talking about? Well, what's the youngest patient you would see show up with an ACL?
Well, you can get them in patients as early as 9 years old. The really young patients tend to go to the pediatric orthopedic specialist, but my most common age group is high school and college.
You happen to bring your knee with you, which we appreciate. Let's take a look, maybe just kind of show us what we're talking about. What's the front end there?
Sure. So I'm sure everybody hears about cartilage, meniscus, and ACL and other ligaments. So I'll just show you what they are. So here's a knee model. Here in front is the kneecap, the patella. So we're peeling that off. The top here is the thigh bone, down here is the shin bone. And this blue protective layer, in this model anyway, is the cartilage. And that allows the joint to move nice and smoothly and to protect the joint. These C-shaped structures down here are the meniscus. And you can think of those as like shock absorbers or cushions. And these two ligaments on the outside here, one of them's already torn on this model, are ligaments. And this ligament right in the middle of the knee is the ACL, which helps prevent rotation and from the shin bone moving front and back too much.
All right, so how does somebody know, or does everybody know that they've damaged it? Is it readily apparent what it was?
For an ACL injury, the majority of patients will hear or feel a pop. very quickly, usually within hours, they'll develop a large swelling in their knee, a large effusion. It's oftentimes difficult to walk. So that's what happens initially. And then over time, those symptoms will improve, and they typically don't even have any pain, but their knee will just not feel stable. And when they try to get back to cutting or changing directions really quickly with sports, their knee just doesn't feel quite right.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about preventing or treating knee injuries, give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen. You can also tweet your questions to @MPT News. Is there such thing as a partial tear?
There are. You can tear part of the ACL, and so those patients can actually do fairly well with non-operative treatment, depending on how much of a tear that you actually have. But the vast majority of tears are complete tears, and unfortunately your body does not heal it, and there's no way to get it to repair. So for a young athlete, it almost always means surgery and almost a year out from sports.
Now, for an older person who has an ACL tear, is the treatment different?
Yes and no. If it's an older, very active patient, the same principles apply. We need to restabilize the knee. So we usually recommend surgery. However, if it's an older patient that's not very active, oftentimes we can treat them with physical therapy and a brace.
So in the immediate aftermath of one of these injuries, what do you do in terms of first aid treatment?
Well, the most important thing the first couple weeks are elevation and ice. Just to really get the swelling down. Typically before surgery, we have about 3 to 4 weeks of prehab, what we call it. We send them to physical therapy, try to get the swelling down, try to get the muscles to work again, and more or less try to make it look like the other knee so that their knee is ready for a surgery.
Has the surgery evolved at all?
It has. It has, in fact. Every, I would say, 5 years or so, we make advances in either the way we fix the grafts that we use, and actually about 8 years ago we changed the placement where we put the grafts. So it's actually one of the most commonly studied surgeries in sports medicine, and we continue to evolve techniques.
What's the recovery time like? You mentioned you're going to be out a year in terms of competitive sports, but in terms of just being able to walk around.
Just being able to walk around, I mean, that would also depend on if you had any other damage in the knee. But if it's just an ACL, typically within a couple weeks, patients are able to walk pretty comfortably. We let them run in about 3 months. But it really takes that graft at least 6 months to fully heal to the bone. So, and in fact, some of the research has showed it even takes up to 2 years, maybe, until it completely heals.
Let's grab a phone call. Prince George's County. This is Myra. Myra, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, I tore my meniscus in 2 places on my left leg. I was a receptionist in a bank, and I had to put supplies away in the cupboard, and I climbed up and tore my knee, and 13 years ago, and I still cannot rely on this leg to lift me up. Like I do exercising, but what I have to do is roll over. This knee doesn't, getting out of a bath or anything like that, I cannot rely on the knee.
Myra, thank you for the phone call. Best of luck. What do you think?
Bye-bye.
There's a lot of factors. One would be her age and how much, if she has any arthritis in that knee. But certainly some rehabilitation, physical therapy to strengthen the muscles around the knee can help take some pressure off. If there's some structural damage there and she doesn't have much arthritis, she might benefit from a knee scope, if you will, to fix that.
It's interesting that the ACL issue occurs when we're talking about young athletes more commonly in girls than boys.
Absolutely.
Significant difference there, and why?
For non-contact injuries, it's 4 to 6 times higher in young women than young men. In fact, most of the ACLs that occur, it's young athlete changing direction really quickly without anybody even hitting them. And that's because the muscles just aren't controlling the knee well enough. They're not strong enough, or the student athlete doesn't have good enough balance in that knee. So there's actually some preventative programs, and if there are any students or parents of students out there, I would go on, you can even Google ACL prevention programs. There's a lot of them out there. I can't say one's better than the other, but they work on neuromuscular control, balance, getting the core, glutes, and hamstrings stronger, and that certainly can help. And those are all tend to be weaker in young women than men, so that could be one reason.
Let's squeeze in one more call.
Sure.
Prince George's County, this is Bill. Bill, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Yeah, how are you this evening? Yeah, I've got two questions. I tore the patella off my left knee. I'm 64 years of age, and on the right knee, I tore the meniscus about 25 years ago. But when I tore the patella, it took me about 2 years to get my knee back without having any operations. My second question is that how come whenever you go see knee doctors, the first thing they want to do is do knee replacements?
Okay. Bill, thanks very much for the phone call. Good luck to you.
Well,
you don't do knee replacements.
Yeah, I do everything but knee replacement, so I definitely wouldn't offer you that.
Here's your doctor, Bill. Right?
Well, if you get to a certain point where nothing else is working, you have severe arthritis, certainly knee replacement's a great operation. However, if the longer we can delay that, the better.
Any connection between somebody who has one of these ligament injuries and having arthritis later in life?
Yes. Actually, if you have an ACL tear, you have a much higher risk of getting arthritis in 12 to 15 years. And for a lot of these high school athletes, we're talking about in their 30s, and that's even with the reconstruction. So there's thoughts that maybe we don't reconstruct it perfectly like we think we do, or maybe there's just some initial damage there, but certainly there's a higher risk.
Dr. Jonathan Packer, University of Maryland Medical Center, team orthopedic surgeon for the Terps, and we hope you're not busy in that capacity this football season. Doctor, thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you for joining us Thursday at this time on Your Money and Business. Mega cargo ships now arriving at the Port of Baltimore. We'll see what that means. And we're back Friday as well with State Circle. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
Your health segments are a co-production of Maryland Public Television and the University of Maryland Medical System.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.